This is the official podcast for the Adelaide Football Club.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the second edition of Down the Guts. It is round 4, Berts, that we've just concluded, and heading into round 5 this week, the showdown week. Katrina Gill is here along with the media guru Joc. Good to have you guys. Berts,
how you going, Paddy?
Now, massive week, Berts. Been a big week over the weekend. The GWS Giants, we were lucky to get over. They played some pretty good football, but the boys rallied in the second half, which was good to see, and have Port Adelaide this weekend.
Yeah, GWS, pretty impressive. Some of their kids, I thought, played pretty well, and the conditions as well. They quite enjoyed the ball being in the contest all the time, and thought they had a fair crack.
They certainly did. Well, they've trained in it the entire pre-season up there in Sydney, because they've been training in floods, basically, Kat.
We'll help, Paddy.
Joc, what's been the wash-up from the weekend?
Oh, Paddy, lots of little stories floating around.
Burns broken his hand.
Bernie's broken his hand. There's a few injury worries with Jared Petrenko copping the shoulder of poor pleasure. So whether he comes good and can line up. Also, Ian Callanan was looking pretty good on the track after missing with a calf complaint.
Looked good today. So he was penning himself in today, Nutter was.
And of course, Graham Johncock as well, who sat out the game against the Giants.
Yeah, so I think Stiffy will be back in the side. But what about Bernie just tweeting the injury on Twitter? Berts, you wouldn't have been happy with that, given the fact that you like to keep a pretty close eye on everything that is media. And there's Bernie tweeting a picture of his broken hand.
Doing our job for us.
It's getting close to the fans, isn't it? No, I haven't spoken to Bernie about that yet, but no, hopefully he's not out for too long.
Now, part of that was all the wannabe doctors that then came on and said, it's the third metacarpal, and no, that's a broken hand.
Diagnose how long he's going to be out for. Now, we do love tweeting and twittering in Down the Guts, but last night there was a massive Twitter war between Tom Lynch and Bernie Vince.
I actually turned off. It scared me, so I stopped.
Some very interesting stuff. Some really cut deep. Some of the stuff just about. Bernie was attacking Tom Lynch's appearance, and then, Tom got dirty with some of Bernie's Supercoach scores, so it was quite interesting to be.
A few little snots from Matty Yench too, and looking to raise some funds to cover that $900 sanction.
Exactly. Well, Matty, maybe you should just stay in the back line.
Now, talking about that $900 sanction that Yenchi's got, now, he was defending you. He came in because you're lying on the ground holding your head.
Well, I don't know.
Chad Corns just ran into you.
I don't know why he got fined $900, because Chad wasn't wrestling with anyone. He ripped his own shirt off and then ran off the ground. So that's what I saw, and I was pretty close to the action.
Well, I'm surprised you saw much. You were just sort of lying there on the ground.
I was hoping for a gig.
Yeah, well, that didn't happen, and poor Yenchi's come in, sorted Chad out, or tried to sort Chad out, and he's got the money.
Now, Bert's GWS on the weekend. The great Phil Davis played on Kurt Tibbett. Kurt had a pretty good day. Phil's first kick obviously went out on the full. Now,
he didn't answer last week.
He didn't answer last week. You're not going to try him
again, surely.
Well,
I was a bit disappointed he didn't answer as well.
I was
happy to take the call.
He was really disappointed. So we're getting him back up. So hopefully he'll answer, and we can ask him a few questions about.
I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Obviously, all the Sydney media is probably ringing him.
Well, I spoke to him before, and he said he's just watching his tape, which should take about 30 seconds. So here we go. Wait a minute.
Did you actually say anything to him on the weekend? Give us a rundown. Nothing at all.
Phil Davis. Phil Davis, Down the Guts. Phil, you're back. You are back on the People's Podcast.
Oh, what an honour.
Don't act like you didn't know this was coming, Phil. Now, we haven't had you.
I just got a text message, so I've all got my answers all organised here.
Well,
you mightn't have realised though, Phil, Dave Burtenshaw here, mate. How you going?
Paddy, I'm going to see Bones to pick with Dave, so I'll wait for another moment.
Now, Paddy, he said that you were looking at your highlights reel from the weekend. He reckons that wouldn't have taken you too long.
I can't hear what you're saying, sorry.
Straight down, really.
Week with your payout, so it's got to be a bit faster.
Now, Phil, a couple of questions. Last year, you appeared on about 5 episodes of Down the Guts. You were paid for 22 rounds. Are you going to give the money back? These bloody... Phil, we'll talk to you later. You've been horrific on Down the Guts. And we need you to clean up your act. We're getting rid of him.
Jeez, the
He's
reception's
gone.
not too good up in New South Wales.
I think he spat it.
I reckon he did.
He was expecting an easy interview and he's just realised it was going to be tough. And
Well,
he's hung
Bert,
up.
you cut straight in there, didn't you? And bang. Well,
you're the one who-
fired the shot. I'm really aggressive, Kat. What did you think? I thought it was fantastic.
Now, there must have been a bit said early on, Paddy, when he's had Kirk kick 2 in the first couple of minutes on him. There is a bit of footage of Scotty Thompson running past saying something, I reckon.
Well, I think, from sources close inside the club, Taylor Walker was on the lip for most of the game, I think. So, which is
It's a
certainly.
genuine surprise.
I was really surprised. I thought, of all people, surely Taylor Walker wouldn't have said anything. But
Just a lovely, quiet Broken Hill boy.
I think when Phil was lining up for goal, there was a few sly remarks towards the big man. So. I think he'll keep those pretty close to his chest, though.
He always rated himself as a centre-half forward as well, so he would have been disappointed with that.
Well, I said to him I caught up with him Sunday, I said, you were celebrating before it even went through. He said, no, I wasn't. I said, yes, you were. I watched through the tape again. You had the one arm up. He said, I was setting up in defence. Phil don't lie to me. Bert's massive week this week. Kat, what's happening in the world of Port Adelaide, because Robbie Gray's obviously out?
Yeah, it was pretty horrific. I don't know if we'll see a nastier incident than we saw, although we had Gary Rowan break his leg in the same round as well, the weekend of carnage, as they're calling it. But
it was.
Bad luck for Robbie Gray. You don't like to see any player go down with an injury like that, and he's had the Rico, traditional, not the Lars, like a couple of his teammates, David Roden and Brett Ebert, who have had those before. So 12 months out for Robbie.
But he was very fortunate, Berts, because it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
It could have been a broken leg as well, I think, to go with it.
So he's a very lucky individual. But Bert's, we had a few of our own, obviously Petrenko and Vince. But Joc, there's been a few very good performances in the SANFL over the last couple of weeks. And
Yeah, a few boys sticking up their hand.
Jared Lyons has been very good.
Keeps
Gazza.
Down at the Bays.
racking up the numbers.
Well, the Bays, they just got overrun on the weekend, which was disappointing by Andy Otton's South. And those boys are making a bit of a late charge. What are we? Fourth. Round 5. Late charge in the first 5 rounds. They've been playing some good footy, which is good to see.
Now, Paddy, the showdown, Balfour's showdown, we should throw in.
Balfour showdown.
Since yesterday.
XX 1-1.
We
Is it
spent
32?
XXX 1-1.
Your number.
32.
32.
The great man's number. Surely you're going to have
true.
over 40 then. About time.
Mick.
Now, talk us through the showdown. They enjoyable games to play in?
They're great. They're fantastic, and I think every time that anyone ever, talks about it on radio, or players talk about it on radio, sometimes they can tend to downplay it because it's a massive week for SA footy. But certainly we're going to every game, really excited and pumped up. But there's something special about the showdowns because you want to be the best in South Australia, and obviously there's only the 2 teams, so. It's going to be a big week, and I know the boys are looking forward to it, and those that aren't playing are pushing hard for selection, and those that are playing are certainly excited about it.
There's traditionally a bit of niggle. No Chad Corns this year.
And no Dean Brogan.
Who are the antagonisers you look out for?
Matt Thomas didn't play last week either, I don't think, for Port. So.
No, Matty's too busy crashing in. He's a bit of a hard nut. I'm not sure. Without Chad... Hamish Hartlett, he likes a bit of it. He was a bit of a lip, yep.
Wouldn't take his own top off, I don't think, Hamish. But.
No, I don't think so. I think that's basically only Chad. But certainly hopefully there'll be a few fireworks early, Berts.
Now, we've also sent out a Twitter message this afternoon for Ask Danger questions.
Well, hopefully they're not people I know already.
We've screened them a
hopefully
little
we've
bit better
avoided
this
that.
week.
We've got a few. I think Joc's got a bit of a list of them there.
Yeah, I got one off the top. Andrew Coulson wants to know, who are you best mates with at the club?
Who are my best mates with?
He's going to put someone offside here.
Oh, no. There's so many.
Can you narrow it down?
Well, I won't go with best mate. I'll go with the bloke that's always over at my house. And
Ooh.
Tom Lynch, I reckon,
My mate from St Kilda.
He spends more time with me than he does with his girlfriend. And he would spend 5 nights a week at my house, Bert. So
what's the story? Have you got a good TV or something? Or
I don't know.
Foxtel?
Well, he doesn't have a couch at his house. He's been waiting 6 months for a couch to be delivered, so maybe he likes my couch. but I spent a lot of time with him.
Has he given the key back yet?
He had. Well, he didn't give it back. I had to take it, Kat. So,
Testing the friendship.
Yeah, massively. So, I'm actually going there around for dinner. Going around to his house for dinner tonight. So, I'll work that out.
Now, Conrad Wilkins wants to know.
Conrad.
Surely a made-up name.
Where is he from?
He's real.
He's from Alcatraz.
He wants to know what's better, fishing in SA or Victoria.
Ooh. That's a tough one. Well, I've actually always caught bigger fish in SA. Been lucky enough to go out with a few well-known builders, and they've got a couple of nice Rivieras in the marina down at Glenelg. So,
suck up.
Alan Shepherd, thank you. But certainly, I think SA.
What else you got there?
I've got one here from young Emily who wants to know, which AFL player, past or present, do you admire the most?
Oof. Past or present, it's a tough one. I think I love Chris Judd. You look at Chris Judd, just how balanced he is, the way he conducts himself in the media, and obviously a lot's been said about him as a player, but I think just the way that he conducts himself is something to be admired by any player.
Okay, Jade wants to know who's the funniest teammate.
Probably Dave McKay, without doubt. He's as dry as they come, Dave. He doesn't have to say anything to be funny. You can just say something to Dave and he'll just look like he's been shot in the ribs from close range, and you just laugh at him.
Another one here from Dylan Morris. What's the thing that you most look forward to when coming up against Port Adelaide in a showdown?
I think the rivalry. It's a terrific rivalry between both clubs, and it can get a bit nasty at times, but I think that's all part of it, and I think that's something that not too many clubs have, that real bitter rivalry, because we hate each other. But that's part of the romance of it all. So certainly the rivalry that's created between the two sides, and when you hear both sides or both supporter groups cheering and abusing each other, it's something that always gets you going.
Now, Sophie Damon wants to know who is the best and worst person at the club to be stuck with on a long trip.
Been a few tweets about this year already, I think.
Well, they go sort of hand in hand. I mean, you could be stuck with Taylor Walker and Matthew Inch for a whole trip, but you'd be crying half the time with laughter. So they'd be incredibly annoying, but geez, they'd be funny to travel with. So I think they're probably the answer to both of those. It's the answer to both of them. They'd be terrific to travel with, but also a nightmare.
Good answer.
I've got a bit of an interesting one here, and I actually have lost the name, but any tips for a new Crow supporter learning the game from a stance? #POM trying to learn Aussie rules.
Oh.
Let's start.
Yeah, don't look at my skill set.
A bit harsh.
Learn the basics early, Jock. Kicking and handballing. Don't worry about any tricks just yet. Get your kicking down right, and then once you do that, you can expand from there.
Then we can show him the tape v Fremantle from last season.
Don't worry, kick a point.
Anything else you got, Jock, there?
No other.
Just about run out of Ask Danger questions. We'll have to do it at night time, I think, next week.
Well,
get more questions. Oh, here's one. One last one. Flossie Davis. Pat, what are your top 5 favourite bands?
Top 5.
Give us top 1.
Well, last night we were watching The Voice. Tom was over, so couldn't get rid of him. But I don't mind Seal. Hate him on the show, but he's a terrific singer. But I love Bruce Springsteen. He's the boss. I just love him. The Rising, I reckon, Jock, one of the great songs.
Not familiar with that one, Paddy?
Oh, are you serious, Jock? Jesus. It's truth. How old are you?
I'd say showing your age.
21.
Yeah, I think you.
Everyone knows the boss, Berts, right?
Yeah, I certainly do. It's more my age group than.
No, you can't get better than Bruce Springsteen. Him, and if you go on YouTube and you type in Bruce Springsteen and Jimmy Fallon, you can have there's them singing "I'm Sexy and I Know It" by LMFAO, I think it is.
Yes.
And it's fantastic. So there's something to listen to. We were discussing today with some of the boys. Could you get yourself up for a game
4 days?
4 days after playing? And certainly some of them said it would be extremely tough. Imagine running out in front of 100,000 people. It'd be pretty surreal, absolutely.
So how would you go? We played Saturday.
Given the way I put up on the weekend, I'd be fine, I reckon, Berts. There's some other weeks that you think, not a chance in hell, but certainly myself and the majority of the team have pulled up pretty well. Obviously Bernie and Papa are a bit sore, but everyone else is in good shape. So,
can you remember back in the old days when they played State of Origin games on a Tuesday night?
I can't remember because I can't remember the games, but I'm certainly aware of the way that they structured things, and that would have been bloody interesting.
Yeah.
But I reckon it'd be great if they still did that, Berts.
Tuesday night?
Well, maybe a Wednesday night.
So you'd like to play State of Origin?
I reckon it's fantastic. I reckon it's a great concept that's certainly been lost to footy, and it'd be great if we could get it back.
It's pretty sad, isn't it, for blokes your age? I mean, there's some players even older than you, like Matthew Pavlich, for instance, who've never had a chance.
Exactly. I think the way that the draft has been set up, that's what's changed it, because you used to come through the system and you'd be allocated to certain zones. So if you're from where I'm from, you'd go to Geelong, you'd play for Geelong, obviously, and you'd always be in your state. But with the way the draft is now, you sort of lose that because you go interstate, and I've been in SA for 5 years, so you sort of lose that. I won't call it state pride, but you lose that. I don't know, that feeling of only ever playing for your state side.
Oh, but you'd love to have the big V on you.
Oh, it'd be absolutely. And whenever you're playing the under 15s and the under 16s, and you absolutely love wearing the big V, but unfortunately I don't do it anymore. It'd be terrific if I did.
Right, we got a bit sidetracked there. Really, John. You're about to send it somewhere else as well.
I was going to throw a curveball, but that's all right. Maybe leave it for another week, another time.
Right, Paddy, now we need the fans to come along this weekend.
We do, Berts.
It's a home showdown.
I'd love to have 50,000 Berts. Between 40 and 50 would be terrific. And people don't understand just how good it is for the players when there's 50,000 people in AAMI Stadium, the buzz that we get as players, and I think it really lifts us in terms of our performance as well. So it would be terrific to see as many supporters as there as we could.
Well, I think we got pretty close to 45 late last year when we played.
We need them again, Berts.
Dick's first game as coach, and we had a win. So
yes, we did.
And we're 14-17 down, so we...
I know, we need to even the ledger a bit, don't we?
So we've got to win the next 3.
Certainly do.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for joining us.
No worries, guys.
Thanks, Kat.
Thank you.
And Joc.
See you, mate.
We'll see you next week.
All the best, Paddy.
See you later.
Thanks for listening to the official podcast of the Adelaide Football Club.